Yeah, we're gonna hang out with Lady Braxton. I like her. Approaching the lady of the house is somewhat difficult. Not for any great crowd milling about her, but for the unsteadiness in her stance. It's of genuine concern whether she might suddenly topple if approached from the wrong angle and forced to turn in an unexpected direction. Maggie, come girl. I need a refresh. Reintroduce yourself. Pardon me, I think you've mistaken me for someone else. My name is Clara Reed. We met earlier this evening. Clara, where has Maggie gone off to? It's hard to find good help. Pardon me, your ladyship, but would you know where I might find Zora Levick? Zora, you say? Yeah, I think I saw her step into the back gardens. The evening's quite gorgeous after all. Gorgeous? Isn't it still raining? Oh yeah, but it's bound to stop any moment, I'm sure of it. Now about the mummy. That is a fantastic mummy you have on display. Where, might I ask, did it come from? She blinks twice, slowly trying to focus her eyes on me, become most unbecoming. Why, my dearest Clara, as you well know, my illustrious husband, when he's not working, whoring, or otherwise ignoring his matrimonial duties, she sways. Where was I? You were about to tell me where the mummy was procured. Ah, yes. My husband has many important connections. Among them, Sir Flinders Petrie, the famed British Egyptologist. Let us just say that when we require a mummy, we get one. I wonder if that sentence has ever been spoken before. And before you ask, no, I do not put any stock in those silly superstitions of a curse. Ghastly and depraved, not worthy of mention. She leans forward, eyes wide. It's clear she wishes to further discuss the curse in question. So about the mummy's curse? You mentioned a curse. Her whole face lights up. She has likely been waiting the entire evening to find someone to discuss this with. Oh yeah, most dreadful thing it is. Ladies of upstanding moral fiber should not concern themselves with such. She leans it in conspiratorially. There's a distinct possibility she might fall given the angle. Just between you and I, there is a delicious rumor that this mummy's coffin had a warning on it in Egyptian. All who violate my tomb shall be cursed forevermore. Cursed! Can you imagine? I think that's actually true for the guy who discovered, I want to say, was it King Tut's tomb? I don't think it was King Tut's tomb. I want to say like the discovery with this description was near the pyramids of Giza, not the Valley of Kings. I can, in fact, I knew a priestess of Hecate once. A shrug. Who was skilled in such things, but it's best to let her have her fun. Scandalous. And that very mummy here at the party? Are we all cursed then? Ooh, coming into the history fact. Yeah, it was King Tut's tomb. Oh, okay. So King Tut's tomb was in the Valley of Kings, right? Or was King Tut's tomb like the one that was not in the Valley of Kings? Like Ramses and stuff, they were in the Valley of Kings, right? My son got really into Egyptology for a while. He would tell me how like King Tut was like a little boy who walked with a limp and had a cane and things like that, and just all sorts of stuff. He'd talk about canopic jars and things like. I haven't talked up my son in a while, but he gets crazy interested in all sorts of things. Scandalous, and that very mummy here at the party. Are we all cursed then? Oh, could you imagine? Someone might get injured or catch a light. Her balance teeters and she almost stumbles into a nearby candle stand. Ask for more details about the curse. Pretty sure it is in the valley? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, it's the Valley of Kings, right? Of course King Tut would be there. Ask for more details about the curse. Do you know anything else about the curse? Has anyone involved in the mummy's excavation encountered bad luck? Lady Braxton makes as if to whisper, only she forgets to lower her voice. Keep this just between us ladies, but I hear the ship carrying the mummy here was lost at sea. The whole crew and all their cargo. That's terrible, all those drowned men. Thankfully, the mummy was recovered despite the setback. Express your amazement. What an awful ordeal. Does make for quite the story, though. Oh, yes. The captain told me as much. Would you believe it? He floated to shore clutching tightly to the casket. Did he now? Showed me the payout from the Royal Exchange and everything. Naturally, given his bravery, I paid extra upon delivery. Let it not be said that I am heartless. An extra cost, and a captain transporting contraband goods. Sounds like somebody I know. Indeed, Green Street. Likely a coincidence, but even so, I might want to ask him about it. I wonder what is more difficult to acquire in London, the forgery of passports or of insurance claims. Regardless, best to leave it be. She seems content with the story she's gotten out of it. Thank you for your time, Lady Braxton. Charmed, sure. Oh, I like this lady. I like her a lot. I wonder which is more valuable, the Braxton estate or this priceless relic. The way the chairs are set up here, like we're all just supposed to sit and stare at the sarcophagus, even though it is really cool. Honestly, on second thought, I like it. I would go to this party and just sit and like stare at the sarcophagus. Triceratops, whatever I was trying to say. It's no surprise to see Sir William Rathbone here. Silas's penchant for audacious guests seems to never wane. Let's greet Wallace first. Good evening, Wallace. Are you a bit more agreeable now? Not open palm, or else I'll think you're offering him food. I offer the back of my wrist to see and smell so he can comfortably acknowledge my presence. Trillip, chirp. By Jove, is that a break in your cantankerous disposition, Wally, my boy? Perhaps the scent I'm wearing is somehow pleasing to ostriches. Hurt, chirp. Haha, well said, Wally. Interesting. Let's just dive into investigating the murder, shall we? It seems death is not merely a reoccurring theme in the party, but in the news as well. What are your thoughts on the courtesan killer? Oof, nasty business indeed. I trust you're referring to the killer's handiwork and not the unfortunate victims. Yes, oh dear, I didn't mean for my comments to come across as cruel. Squawk. Well said, my boy. I may not agree with your fellow harlot's choice of work, but no person deserves to be slaughtered in so heinous a manner. How gracious of him. My Wally can be quite the attack dog. If you ever feel your safety is compromised, perhaps you might borrow him. He'll trail behind you like a trained horse. Oh, that's quite... For a small fee, of course. But of course. Man, I was about to take him up on it, too. Actually, I still might. An attack ostrich might be handy, you know? What are your thoughts on the theme of the ball in the main event? Ah, Egypt. I must really get back there sometime. You've been? Oh, yes. It's home to my favorite exotic bird. Chirp. I said my favorite bird, Wally. You're my favorite exotic animal, bar none. Chirrup. Yes, home to the African gray parrot. They're so smart that they need only listen to a sentence once before they can repeat it perfectly. Fascinating. As for the unwrapping event, I don't expect much other than bones and dust. That's what I found when I unwrapped a mummified cat during the expedition. Please elaborate. Why so ever would you do such a thing? Unwrap a poor cat, that is? I had to know if it was real. Did I not? And besides that, I dearly sought to answer just what sort of caps were kept back then. Did you find your answer? Alas, no. The little beast was naught but crumbly, desiccated skin. Like money unwrapping parties were actually a thing in the Victorian era? I know, and honestly, it's just thinking about it kind of makes me think, like, man, what kind of asshole, sorry, thinks that, like, you know what, hindsight is 20/20. But people in the Victorian era, I get the impression that they felt like they were the epitome of society. And so, of course, they had the right to destroy all sorts of historical artifacts or steal them, especially in Britain. Lol. May I ask how you know Lord Braxton? Well, the upkeep and health of exotic animals vastly outweighs any profit they make in public venues. Lord Braxton is one of my more charitable patrons, you see. His financial aid keeps my humble zoo afloat and available after all. Or available to all. What tacitly makes you beholden to him. Which, yeah. Ta-ta for now. Enjoy the rest of the party, Mr. Rathbone. Tacitly. Yeah, I don't hear that word often enough. You as well, Miss Reed. Oh, yeah, the Empire did that a lot. Yeah. They did. What's... Oh. For a second, I thought the camera was stolen for some other reason. Ooh, a desk. I don't think this is the steam-powered rifle designs, is it? Neat desk speaks of an ordered mind. Oh, hey, Green Street is there. Oh, and there's the mummy. I think we want to do everything. Oh, a ladder. If I had a book I treasured so much I'd climb a ladder for it, I'd keep it on a lower shelf. I mean, I can't scroll up. A lot of books. Achilles, Iphis, and the modern Nereid inverts. Creating the Divide, Meiji, Shinto, and Birth. Ruslavia, on the subject of lichen-run state. The Felicietaria, the cult of Zeus, and the cost of war, the War of Independence. Let's read about Bruslavia. It's topical considering. Full moons draw rowdy crowds in Bruslavia. Such traditions reach back long before our modern incarnations of moon creams and other medicinal treatments. Dr. Smith, Victoria, English reports a rather festival-like atmosphere as people transmute into wolves, hunt down wildlife, and then run freely in the woods. Oh dear, such chaos. The government and infrastructure of Bruslavia evolved with lycanthropes in mind, and so natural infrastructure and precautions reflect this fact. Dr. Smith, Victoria English, of course, reports being rightly terrified by such barbarity. I mean, I want to spend all day reading. We're gonna step away. let's look at this mummified corpse here. Nobles will do anything to flaunt their wealth. That disturbs me more than this mummy. I was hoping for a little more detail than that. Found the wallflower. This one's unlikely to move from his spot on his own volition. Not saying the Netherlands wasn't much better. We had some psycho slaughter an entire island over nutmeg. Yeah, I mean... History's real messed up. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, you know, hindsight and all that. I've got harsh judgments for, you know, everyone in every century prior. A granite lion in its natural habitat, in states where wonders of the world are flaunted. Man, is there anyone interesting to talk to? Let's see how Tessica's doing. Lovely to see you, Gingercate. Punctual as ever. You beat me to the party. In this case, seeing as Lord Braxton is the high-paying patron, it pays to be on time. Did you know that there would be a mummy on display? I can't say I read the invitation closely. To be clear, I don't condone this sort of thing at all, but here we are. And there's not another ferry back to London until much later. Besides, if Lord Braxton is buying her work, then it pays Miss Lincoln to stay a while. And of course, you're here with Tenor. You must be loving the chance to rub shoulders with the London elite. How do you like the party? It's all the better for seeing you. The feeling is quite mutual. There's a lot of blue bloods don't know how to throw a proper bash. Not like back at home. Indeed not. With the 400 carrying on like it's their God-given mission. A list of New York high society. It's 500 now, right? The Fortune 500. Let's see. Ironic, isn't it, that America should fight for independence only to establish their own nobility? I never thought of it that way, but you're correct, of course. Very astute, Clara. Ask about her husband. Is she married? Do you think of your husband often? Not as much as I used to, though of course I will always miss him. Moving to London was indeed the distraction I'd hoped. As it was for me, at least for a time. Why would I tell anybody about the bounty on my head? Let's move on. She looks around surreptitiously, ensuring we are not overheard. Any luck chasing down those clues we spoke of? Let's confide in Tessica. In fact, I've followed the trail to this very party. Oh, how thrilling. Do be careful, Gingercake. I couldn't bear to lose you. I always am. And that's why I always worry. I shall endeavor to keep any action tonight far from Tessica. It's nice to share a few words with Tessica, but I'd best be going now. Well, Tessica, I must be getting on, but it was good to speak with you. Always a pleasure. You're seriously tempted to play this game too? I think you might like it. Giving your interest in history. Let's talk to Dr. Wainwright. By the saints, it's Dr. Wainwright, the one Ivana interviewed by way of my assistance. He looks upset, glancing around as if to find himself someone to unload his worries upon. Ah, hello, I'm Dr. Clancy Wainwright. It's a pleasure to meet you. Clara Reed. A pleasure, sir. Miss Clara Reed, well, I'm grateful for the company. He seems particularly perturbed. Perhaps he needs another drink? Let's see. Yeah. Why he seems distressed. Pardon me, doctor. You seem distressed. Is there something wrong? Why, yes, in fact, there is indeed something wrong. Go ahead, doctor, I'm listening. You see, I'm the chief physician of the Bethnal House Sanatorium, and a most unfortunate event has occurred, or rather, a series of events. He takes a heavy breath, as if it hurts him physically to think of the subject. Well, to put it simply, a number of my wards have been transferred. Isn't that common? For patients to go to other institutions for specialty treatment? Yeah, it does happen, but none of these transfers occurred under my approval. In fact, I was not consulted at all, and I'm the general director. It's terrible. Where'd they go? Forgive my bluntness, but I suspect my own associate, board member at the Bethnal House, and our host here tonight. He may have had a hand in the transfers. You mean Lord Braxton? The doctor nods patiently, clearly feeling better having shared his concerns. Naturally, when Lord Braxton extended an invitation to the soiree, I decided to attend so that I might speak to him directly. What was his explanation? He has thus far evaded me. He will answer my questions, but before the night is done, however, be sure of that. Well, best of luck with that, Doctor. Silas is quite popular tonight. Excuse me, Doctor. Excuse my presumptions, Doctor, but are you perhaps looking for something? Well, you see, I had been considering, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I had been contemplating looking for something in one of the upstairs rooms. Scandalous. As I was deliberating, I saw none other than that scallywag Greenstreet emerging from the room. He was carrying a portfolio of sorts, which he hid beneath his coat. I'm concerned that he may have gotten away with, well, I suppose I don't know what it is. Scallywag, that's putting it mildly. Yeah, clearly he's a man of ill repute, and he has absconded with something of value, as you had intended to. His face just lost some color. That cut to the quick. Well, not in so many words, but yes. Any road, I considered alerting someone to what I'd seen, but I was concerned to raise alarm about guests venturing into the back rooms. Task updated. Hope of the Comanche. Ye's task take on the party's theme. So I think this updated my journal entry because I'm also here to steal some things for my friend Iron Bear, and I kind of want to see Iron Bear win this one. So it's time to mug Greenstreet, I think. What do you think of the theme, Egypt and mummies and whatnot? You know, I haven't given it a lot of thought, Miss Reed. I have too much on my mind, but as far as the mummy goes, I suppose something that old isn't likely to carry anything catching, or I hope not. Not even an ancient flesh-withering curse? Thank you for that. I needed a good laugh tonight. Now, of the many maladies I've come across in my profession, a pharaoh's curse isn't among them. Alright, let's leave. I don't want to ask about well, he shouldn't know I have anything to do with the interview. But, yeah, I'm just too curious. Tell me, Doctor, have you spoken to a woman called Ivana Orsini of late? Ivana said the meeting went well. I wonder if the good Dr. Wainwright feels the same. How do you know about that? Oh, I have my ways. Well, that's not at all alarming. One might start to suspect a conspiracy. One might. However, since there's no sense in hiding it, yes. I've spoken with a woman in question. Climbed right through the window, in fact, of the establishment I was patronizing. Hard to admit being ambushed in a brothel. Showcasing a level of dexterity usually only seen in lichens, it must be said. Which makes a fellow wonder. Lichens, you say? Hey, Road, the interview did go as well as could be expected. In the end, I don't mind a bit of good journalism, and I do like to share what I'm working on, when not confidential, of course. So, if you are thinking about getting this game, I will mention, like, anything you see here might be completely different. Like, for example, if he just inferred that, like, the Lois Lane type, Ivana Orsini, was a werewolf, maybe I caused the murder by letting her sneak into the brothel by, like, you know, unlatching the door or unlatching the window. Maybe she snuck in at night and murdered my friend. And maybe if I never set up this situation, maybe none of that would have happened. Like, I'm actually very curious, like, how this plays out differently if you do things differently. Or if your dice rolls go different. Anyway, the interview did go as well as could be expected. In the end, I don't mind a bit of good journalism. And I do like to share what I'm working on when not confidential, of course. Of course, I shall refrain from pressing further. Much obliged, Miss Reed. It's been nice speaking with you, Dr. Wainwright, but I must be going now. Of course, Miss Reed. Best of luck in your endeavors. Yeah, I secretly wish this game was a lot more popular. Because I really want to see, like, things play out differently for another person. I mean, like, it could absolutely be that nothing interesting happens at all. Alright. So Green Street here probably has the documents I need. I just straight up pickpocket him while he's talking to this lady. Miss Reed, well, nice to see you again. Green Street is shocked to see me here. It's written all over his face. I don't suppose you brought your passage fee for the passage we spoke about earlier. I don't have it, but who knows? Perhaps I'll find an investor here at the manor. If any woman could pull it off, I'd put my chips on you, Miss Reed. Now about that portfolio. I'll cut to the chase, Green Street. There's a certain item I've been looking for. Something I believe is of interest to both of us. Right, of course. The pate is on the table over there by the window. Not to be missed, I agree. Fast talker, this one. I'd have an easier time pinning down a bird on the wing. You were witness slinking out of Lord Braxton's private rooms with a portfolio hidden under your coat. That's given him pause. The depth of your paranoia is something, Reed. But the fact of the simple fur trapper like myself getting turned around in a sprawling mansion like this isn't much grounds for conspiracy. Oh man, I'm not determined and I'm not a chameleon. No doubt about it, that portfolio is on his person and the diagrams within. I think I'll be going. Take care now. Dang it. At the very least, I can tell Iron Bear that Green Street has it. Maybe I can get him to murder the guy. Miss Reed, hope you're having a pleasant time. Now that you've had a while to take it all in, what do you think of the party? It's very different from any celebration I've seen at home, even unsettling. The guests seem uncomfortable, anxious, except those who have indulged in too much drink. They behave like fools. Very astute. You have a keen eye for people. Have you taken a look at the mummy yet? I have not, nor do I intend to. Only a madman would disturb the dead's rest. I understand that these people worship science above nature and tradition, but my heart tells me there must be consequences. A gruesome end, I'll grant you that. I have seen gruesome, Miss Reed. This is... He waves a hand vaguely, lost for words. It seems he's done talking. Alright, let's sneak out the back, shall we? If Zora is involved in the murders, I'll have to confront her. If I leave the party, I may not have the opportunity to come back. Yeah. Okay, let's talk to the two remaining people. starting with the butler. Is there something I can help you with? Ask him where Madame Zora is. I'm looking for another guest. I wonder if you might help me find Zora Levick. Ah, yes, the woman in the lovely black dress. I believe she ventured into the back gardens for a bit of fresh air. The back gardens, thank you. My pleasure, madam. Don't mind me, Spitfire, just taking in Lord Braxton's mighty fine estate. Lord Almighty, who wouldn't want to live inside his humble little abode? If this estate is humble, then I'm the queen's lady-in-waiting. You seem to be enjoying yourself. Miss Reed, if there's one place Tenor Cunningham will shine, it's at a party. And what a party. People from all over the world, these strange artifacts from ancient Egypt, and an idea strikes him, and for a brief instant he looks like he's an awestruck child. I'd almost forgotten the best part. My stomach's all aflutter about the guest of honor. I can't wait for them to unwrap that old-timey luminary. Did you drum up any new business? Young lady, if I'd thought to bring my deeds and papers with me, I'd already be richer by about 1,000 pounds. But the prospects are promising nonetheless. Well, keep at it then. Persistence is key, and men like you never seem to run out of that. I beg your pardon, that sounded like a barb. And I do believe that's just what you intended. You wound me, Spitfire. To my surprise, the man does seem chagrined by my joke, an emotion I'd not thought him capable of. Then he grins like a jackass and brays like one too. Not to worry, Spitfire, just pulling your leg. You know I'm like a rocket in the red Texas sun. Couldn't burn me if you tried. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to him about curses. Well, Dove, I suppose I'll leave you to it. All right, Spitfire, go and make the rounds. Don't worry about me, I'm fine just right here. Ooh, did I look at the stone carving? Great big block of stone carved with ancient Egyptian figures. The range and quality of Egyptian artifacts in Silas's possession is truly staggering. This one is quite worn, however. That may be the god Horus on the left, but it's hard to be sure. Alright, I think we're ready for the back gardens. The manor moves with a life of its own. Lord Braxton has pulled strings to divert the hydroelectric power from the nearest dam. Oh wait, I read this one. Here we go. There's Madame Zora looking like a vampire. There's Zora. I'd speak to her while I have the chance. Ah, Clara. I was sure we'd run into each other. Madame Zora, may I have a moment of your time? Whatever it is, shall have to wait. I must return inside. I'm afraid it can't wait. I have some rather urgent questions for you. I do think she's the killer. Well, time to get back to work. Have an amazing stream and day. Thank you so much. And thank you for stopping by. It's always nice. Have a good day at work. Now's not a good time. I'm quite busy. Let's see. Do we talk about Ivana Orsini? Or investigating the murder of the Velvet Rose as its connection to the other courtesan killers' victims? I think we're going to do this one. I've been investigating the murder at the Velvet Rose as well as its connection to the other courtesan killer victims. Her brows knit with uncertainty, her eyes darting about to see if anyone overheard us. By yourself? Surely that's quite dangerous, is it not? I'm hardly a stranger to violence, as you well know, Madame Zora. All the same, perhaps it's best to let the authorities handle the investigations. I didn't want to mention her name outright. Have you any idea where Ivana is right now? Somehow Ivana Orsini is the key to all of this. In truth, I had planned on meeting her tonight. Or planned to meet her here. Surely you won't mind if I tag along. Perhaps the three of us could have a discussion. No, Miss Reed, I'm afraid that's quite out of the question. I'm just throwing words into sentences now. And perhaps you could speak with me before she arrives. Very well. Miss Reed, what would you have of me? Alright, so Zora, Ivana could be the killer. If it's Ivana, like, having the ability to, like, climb into the window really could be part of it. But yeah, the evidence points to Zora. I'm gonna follow that. Like, I don't want to second guess myself just because, like, there's probably some twist I missed. Madam Zora, I must confess the evidence does not present a flattering case for you. Perhaps it's best you provide me with some real answers, unless you'd rather I answer to the bobbies. What a patently absurd accusation, Clara. You cannot think such things, surely. She looks suddenly off to the side. Hello, Zora. Miss Reed? Well. Good heavens, is that Ivana? Ivana, how on earth did you get... I was just about to come speak with you. The personable Zora I spoke with is gone, her haughty professional demeanor returning with haste. You know, being a journalist has its advantages. The opulently wealthy do love fluff pieces on the events. Well, it seems in quite the hurry. Tension evident in her every step. It's hard to see in the half-light, but... Clara, I'm sorry to pull Zora away, but she and I have matters to discuss. There's a lupine hunch in her shoulders, and no one could ignore the fur patches on her face. A partial transformation? And it's true, Ivana is a werewolf. I prefer to come along, Madam and Zora and I were just discussing. I assure you the privacy is not for me, but for Zora. Unless you would prefer to have the discussion in front of Miss Reed. Very well, Ivy, lead the way. Ivana leaves as quickly as she came. You will wait here if you've any understanding of what's good for you, or any regard for the safety of your person. I need to speak with Ivana alone. I've never seen her this disquieted. Now goodbye, Miss Reed. Enjoy the rest of your party in our stead, won't you? I think I had it wrong. Okay. What if Madame Zora and Ivana are friends, even lovers, maybe sisters, who knows? Perhaps they were roommates. The reason the room had Zora's perfume is because Zora came in to arrange the furniture. Ivana was the one who was in there all murdery willy-nilly. And maybe... Maybe Sykes was there organ harvesting for the Molly. Or for Molly's crew. God's teeth, I simply can't let them wander off. Regardless of the killer's true identity, these two are vital players in my investigation. And I can't allow them to waltz off into the night. I can still catch up if I make haste. Follow them!